I worked the night shift alone at a small town radio station. Been the local midnight DJ for 15 years ever since high school. I play classic hits and take callers. Got a nice little group of regular night owls who tune in. Nice gig for a bit of cash and keeping odd hours like me. But few months back, weird things started happening after I received some strange tapes that I cannot explain. It began around 2 a.m. when an elderly gentleman caught the station sounding scared to death. He had a real odd favor to ask of me. Needed me to air some box of old recordings he discovered in his attic to reveal secrets from our past. Refused to play them himself or deliver to the station though. Just insisted I take them or he burns the lot. Said dark forces were closing in fast ever since he listened to part of one tape. With that he hung up. I tried calling back the number but was disconnected. Assumed it was just a confused fan making up stories. But next night at my shift, a truck pulled in and that same elderly gent stumbled to my booth door clutching a worn shoebox tied with fraying rope marked Mammon County Archives, 1976. His eyes were wild, hands shaky as he kept peering into the gloom behind him. He pressed the box firm into my chest, muttering, "Before they find me too," then vanished squealing, tires into the rainy night before I could ask anything. My manager Jenny was just finishing up paperwork as I brought the box inside. She joked warm about my new haunted video collection but frowned a bit at the symbols etched along its sides. Still, we get prank stuff on night shifts sometimes. I laugh it off, but something about the caller's terrified voice and these dusty recordings pulled at me. After Jenny locked up and said goodnight, temptation alone in studio drew me to that mystery box. Most of the tapes seemed damaged at first, filled only with odd ambient noises or dead air, but several interspersed recordings told disturbing tale when pieced together. Poor quality recording of a young girl crying and saying the Our Father prayer. Strange noises like scraping claws and scary screams can be heard getting closer. The girl is suddenly cut off in the middle of her prayer by a terrifying sound. Very creepy. Another video showed mysterious figures in robes chanting strange spells around bonfires in the woods. Quick flashes of the camera revealed strange shapes and long limbs that no earthly creature could have. What were they summoning under the stars? I couldn't stop watching the old tapes, becoming more disturbed by the town's dark secrets. Last tape seized my heart cold. Footage of the long-missing 1999 Lake family displayed alive happily on the rural farm. But last minutes appeared their home security cam had captured some unseen intruder attacking. Lenses splashed red as awful disembodied snarls drowned the victim's screams. The footage ended on a blood-smeared close-up of their young daughter Anna's face sobbing, panicked for mommy before abrupt static pause. As dawn approached, I anxiously read through police case files related to the unsolved murder of a family 2 weeks prior. The same occult symbols found printed on the walls of the family's abandoned house matched those I had just seen foretelling their fate on some disturbing tapes. Dizzy and disoriented from no sleep, I had to visit that long abandoned crime scene in person before I lost my grip on reality. Just to prove there was some rational explanation other than ghosts or witchcraft. Gripping the box of secrets, I raced sleepless down fog-drenched back roads to that cursed property miles into the rural forest area. Maybe a remote cult was responsible. Maybe I suffered some group psychosis projection from lack of rest. But by dawn, I had to know the truth. Dizzy and disoriented from no sleep, I had to visit that long abandoned crime scene in person before I lost my grip on reality. Just to prove there was some rational explanation other than ghosts or witchcraft. Gripping the box of secrets, I raced sleepless down fog-drenched back roads to that cursed property miles into the rural forest area. Maybe a remote cult was responsible. Maybe I suffered some group psychosis projection from lack of rest. But by dawn, I had to know the truth. Finding the weed-choked driveway empty still 20 years later, I cautiously stepped over fraying condemned, placed tape across the creaking front porch. The damaged front door boarded up tight, circling outside a smashed window. I crawled awkwardly into the Lake family's mildew-stained remains of the living room frame squeaking. Faded, dark, Sanatic altar symbols remained painted on the peeling walls where Anna's parents bled out. So much for pranks. My heart was racing as I walked through the creepy abandoned house. I saw blood on children's toys, bones and ashes. Flies were buzzing around the staircase leading to a dark basement. As I shined my flashlight down the stairs, I grabbed the railing and felt sick to my stomach. The light revealed a pit of fire filled with human remains below me. This cursed house was no hoax. Screaming, I turned to flee, but the front door entrance had worked shut, decaying stairs collapsing as I stumbled up them. Trapped alone in this underground charnel, my wide eyes could just make out scrawled above the bone pit in what looked like fresh blood. We hunger eternally for the awakening. This evil was waiting for me on purpose. I saw Anna Lake's child skull necklace among the skeletons. Her spirit had been waiting to show me the truth in these tapes that the authorities ignored. Now I was in danger of becoming part of the feast. The basement walls shook and the dusty urns fell over. My flashlight flickered as the air moved towards a pit of human remains. A huge, strange shape emerged from the pit, with oily limbs and glowing red eyes. I screamed in fear as it seemed to come from another world, leaking madness into our reality. The trophies summoned their master as predicted on the tapes. I opened a portal to a hellish kingdom that wanted to take over our world. Running upstairs quickly, I panicked as I heard the monster roaring below. The floorboards broke under its weight as it chased after me. My only chance was to jump out the shattered window. As I leaped across the room, I saw a growth chart that belonged to Anna, whose dreams were destroyed by the monster 20 years ago. Before I could think any further, I screamed and jumped out into the dawn, landing on the cement below. I barely remembered spitting dirt as I stumbled back to my car and drove quickly through the dark pine barrens. I realized the secrets hidden in our seemingly peaceful area, where dark deals had been made for wealth. A hungry visitor had been waiting for centuries, and I had unknowingly unleashed its power on our world. As I arrived for my graveyard shift, my station computer displayed over a dozen urgent alerts. Boxes labeled "Return to Sender" with a message of blessing were waiting for me. Had playing those blood ritual tapes caused something sinister to come forth? Were my desperate pleas for help on air becoming more real? I was too scared to play any mysterious boxes because I was afraid of the chaos they might bring. I couldn't turn up the broadcasts as darkness took over the town, fearing that the shadows would invade my safe studio. It felt like reality itself was hanging by a thread. Tonight, the tapes will play non-stop, sending signals over the airwaves from the nexus below. I will stand at my station, guarding against any horrors that may come. The awakening cannot be stopped once it begins. I hope to be gone before it's too late.